failure is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I am thankful for my failure because I was arrogant, I was prideful, and failure almost showed me the things about me that I needed to correct.
Good day, Tribe family. Welcome back to another one of our Amplify sessions, our Tribe Conversations, and we are spending time with Erouane.
As I stand before you today, I stand before you as an author, as an entrepreneur, as a consultant, and all of these beautiful things that have been accomplished, and yet they would not be possible without some painful failures. So one of the things that defines me is that I get tired real quick, so I'm always pioneering. My pastor often calls me, "You a pioneer." So I'm always starting what hasn't been done yet that we could do. And so led by vision, I said, you know what, it's time to branch out because we have all of our eggs in one basket, and that is web design, database, and hosting and all of this. And then we have the core business that was still making money. This time we had even a truck that we bought that was now making money. I think the truck was giving us about $6K a month now. And so we had the small car, $3K, another small car, $3K, and then $6K for the truck that we had purchased and then we're running the websites and all of these things. And I said to my partner, okay, we know we've saved up quite a bit. We've saved up quite a bit now. We have, how about we venture into real estate? And he said, I've always wanted to own properties. I said, yes, let's do it. And so we had one of our clients who had, we did it website, we did consulting for him, and he was now owning a hotel, and he was making quite a bit of money. And we said, why don't we partner with him? Because, he easily has a couple of millions already saved up. Why don't we partner up with him and then go into real estate? We had a conversation with him, and it turns out his hotel was fully booked at the time, and he was thinking of expanding. So he said to us, you guys are such good business people. You guys even taught me how to do entrepreneurship. How about I invest some of my money into you guys, and you guys contribute whatever you can, and then you guys rent something on the side so that my overflow can come to you.
Yeah.
And because we've always been passionate about youth, we said we want to do housing for youth. And so the youth that need accommodation, affordable but nice, almost fancy but affordable, and they have to sign a stiff contract to make sure they don't waste anything, but it has to be nice. And so we founded this actually business called Langard and Fanning. So my surname and my business partner's surname, Langard and Fanning Properties. And then we're so excited, right? We decided to take all of our money. In fact, we called all our clients for the website and all of this. We said, we're going to pass it on to our partners so your website can be hosted by them. And we're not going to do websites anymore. We're pretty much done with university. We're tired of this. Let's go into the next step. We're adults now. We want to wear suits all the time. We want to be business people.
Yeah.
So we gave everything. We basically just broke our business apart and gave all of our clients away. And then took all of our money, all of our savings into the real estate. And so we went into real estate, and our partner came alongside us. And he said, so he hadn't given us his contribution. This is the key part. He hadn't given his contribution. And so we went into this thing. And as we signed the contract to rent out, we said, we're not going to buy, we're going to rent out this big property in Greenpoint and pour it into rooms for students and foreigners coming.
Yeah.
And we put our money down into it, which was to rent out a property. There was over 500,000 rent, down payment, and all of these things for like a year. And so we bought the things that we needed. We put the down payment deposit, and we said, okay, now send you part of the money so we can do the rooms and build the house up and do all of these things. And that partner disappeared.
Are you for real?
I'm for real. And so immediately we still couldn't get a hold of him. We went into debt because now we had to pay the rest of it. Went into debt, and to be able to substantiate these debts, we had to call our clients back from the web hosting company. And to be truthful, we ended up just hiding away from our debtors. We hid away completely. We had paid the money already, and we didn't have the rest of the money to finish everything. We were in a contract that was signed already, and so we just hid away.
Yeah.
And so we started running again the web hosting company to make ends meet. But at the same time, our team started to say to us, we can't keep on running with you. Yeah. And our team started leaving us. And so I went back to them and said, why are you guys leaving? And they said, because actually you guys are not the best bosses to work for.
Yeah.
And I learned this thing is I come from Gabon where all the leaders are politicians. And so when you're a leader, you need to wear fancy. You need to walk on the toes of everybody that is your subordinate. And I was doing that unconsciously because that's all I knew. And I thought that was what it means to be a boss. And so when we were at our lowest and they felt that the company wasn't going far, they left. And so now we were running everything, just myself and my business. And we said to them, we don't need you. Where you go, we don't need you. And so we thought we were going to hold everything together. We didn't. And in the same time, I booked a flight ticket to the States. I went to the States, came back, and I was using the business money without a lot of accountability.
Yeah.
Because I thought we had, and then we would have. So in this season, we were very loose with our finances. And so I was the most loose person with my finances at the time. I didn't need to buy a second car. I bought it for fun. I didn't need to go to the States for fun. I went to the States for fun. And then so in that season, everything just crumbled. And then my business and my partner said, we're actually bankrupting. He sat me down. It was a bit more structured than I am. So he said, we're actually bankrupting. Within the next 2 months, we'll have nothing. Because our living expenses were quite high. And we sat down, cried, then we prayed. And then we had to tell everybody that we're not going to make it. We had debtors on our head. And they went to our team. We said, can you please stay on board? They said, we are the worst bosses we've ever been with. You guys don't know what leadership means. And for the first time, I didn't know African people could go into depression. I was raised up in the center of Africa. We don't do depression. We don't. But I went into a very, very deep depression. I didn't know who I was anymore. And slowly God showed me something amazing in that season. He said, you are depressing because you've learned to identify. You define yourself according to what you have. And because now you don't have it anymore, and that's why you don't know who you are. So I had to go through, to stop the story here, I had to go through a process of rediscovering myself.
If who you are is what you have,
yes,
then who are you when what you have is gone?
Easier said than done. You make this mistake unconsciously. You're not aware that you've associated yourself with the car, with the bank account, with all the different things that you have. You start even you start idolizing these things. They are who you are, and you are them. And it's such a dangerous place to be at. And so even for people looking at people succeeding on Instagram and seeing their cars and saying, I want to be like him, you don't know who they are. You think you want to be like them because of what they got.
Yeah.
And you think these things will fulfill you. But it's actually a deadly trap that you got to be careful of.
Yeah.
But I tell you this, and for those listening to us, please get this. This is 3 things that I learned. 3 things. Number 1, I am not what I have or what I don't have. And one other thing that I had to do for my bankruptcy is define who I am and what I am. And this may not work for you, but this is me. Who I am is that I was created I was created by a God who loves me. And so my identity is in things that is something that is as permanent as I was created by a God who loves me. So no matter what I have or don't have, I was created purposefully by a God who loves me. And I had to hang on to that in the middle of my depression. And when I would wake up in the middle of the, in fact, I considered suicide. I remember walking in the middle of the night and my partner saying to me, what if you get robbed or somebody attacks you? Because all we had at the time was still our home, our beautiful home. And I said, I don't care what happens to me. If I die, I die. I got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And last thing, we actually even had to lose that house and go and stay in our friend's bedroom. That's the last section. I had to live in a bedroom, shared with my business partner in one bedroom. Our friends had a beautiful place to give us the bedroom. So we didn't have to pay rental.
Yeah.
We could still keep up and live the next day. And so number 1, you are not what you have or what you don't have. You are not even what your passport says you are, because you can lose that. You know, Zimbabwe used to be known as Rhodesia, and now it's known as Zimbabwe. So if your identity was in the fact that I'm Rhodesians, and now it's no longer Rhodesia, it's Zimbabwe, who are you? Lands, even territory lands change, you know. There's a time where Congo, Gabon, and Cameroon used to be one country. And then people drew on paper to say that you guys are no longer one country.
Yeah.
So if your identity was in fact that this is how big your country is, what happens when it's no longer that? Your identity needs to be in permanent things. And for me, I was created by God who loves me and purposefully created me.
Come on.
Number 2 is that I'm dearly loved by my family. You know, no matter how much we don't. So I had to find new things to set myself in. I'm dearly loved by my family, no matter how much we disagree. And number 3, as I got married, you know, I love my wife and I'm dearly loved by my wife. And number 3 is the fact that one day I'm going to go into eternity. And everything that I'm going to do right now will be determined by where I will be in eternity.
Yes.
And so these are permanent truths to me. Whether I have or I don't have, these they anchor me. So you guys listening to us right now, I want to encourage you, what anchors you? If you want to consider entrepreneurship, consider what anchors you. And it can't be the things of these things that can change over time.
Yeah.
Failure is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I am thankful for my failure because I was arrogant, I was prideful, and failure almost showed me the things about me that I needed to correct. So I said I didn't have any accountability. And so I didn't have accountability. Who was checking my finances when I was spending the money? Who was I bouncing ideas off in terms of breaking apart the company and going into real estate? Did I have somebody to talk to about my, I was blindsided by some other, you need to have accountability. So failure is good because it shows you the things you can improve. It's not the end of the world as long as you fail forward. So I was failing backward until I started learning and asking my team, why did you leave? And them telling me I was a sole leader. In fact, I went into a journey of sitting down with my pastor and learning what it means to be a leader, reading John C. Maxwell, reading everything I could about leadership, and ending up realizing the best way of being a leader is being a servant leader.
Yeah.
And so even in my school today, when we talk about leadership, it's servant leadership. And so these are things that I would not know unless I had failed. So failure is part of the journey. It is okay. In fact, I'll say this, you will fail. You'll die and you're okay with that. You will fail. Be okay with the fact that you're going to fail.
Yeah.
The question is, what do you learn in your failures?